Hello everyone, let's begin with next portion of molecular basis of inheritance. In this portion we will be discussing about the contribution of different scientists for the discovery of double stranded DNA structure. As the prize of as the Nobel Prize was given to Watson and Crick for the discovery of double stranded structure of DNA as a main genetic material which transmits the information from one generation to another, but still the contribution of various scientists could not be overlooked in this process. So let's know about each one of the scientists. The very first scientist is Misher. Misher was a person who was experimenting, or he was a microbiologist or a bacteriologist who was working on WBCs. The scientist was given a task of extracting the white blood cells and looking into the material which is within it. Now, we all are aware about the structure of a WBC. What does it has? It has the presence of a nucleus, and that is what he did. He was experimenting or trying to find out what did this WBC's nucleus contain. It contained a gray body kind of substance, and in order to understand it, he used to collect the bandages of pus from the dustbin of the hospital, and then after he used to clean it with alcohol and study the structure. Now this entire information, or the gray matter which was seen in the test tubes after cleaning with ethanol, gave him some idea that there is something within these buses, but he could not come to any conclusion. He just thought it to be nuclein, and he had some idea that it is made up of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. These all substance, but he had no idea that what role did it play in the as a genetic material. So his contribution was just the finding out of nucleus or nuclein, and he could not give valid answers to what the contribution of this substance was in the course of development of genetic material. So it all started with Misher. Later on, there was another scientist named Wilkins. He was working as a X-ray crystallographer in his lab, and he had already found out the DNA fibers. But during those days, a young scientist named Rosalind Franklin was appointed in the same lab as a in charge of the lab. But as because she was a female, and those days females were not given enough recognition by the males, so this Wilkins started thinking that on his own he just started, he believed that Franklin is his assistant, and she has been appointed in his lab just to assist him. But she was very intelligent and a renowned x-ray crystallographer. She was the one who found out the photo 51, which is actually the structure of B form of DNA, and she has seen it with the help of her radioactive studies. She was little careless about studying about these structures because she did not take proper precautions getting exposed to x-rays, and that's why she died at a very young age because of ovarian cancer. But still, as because there was conflict between Wilkins and Rosalind, in spite of being able to find out the structure of DNA, Franklin couldn't interpret it because Wilkins did not help her out. Rather, Wilkins gave the entire information of that photo 51 without her consent to Watson and Crick, and they got an idea about the entire double helical structure of DNA. So you can think a little bit of conspiracy was going on during those days as well. And just because Wilkins could not take um, the or could not think of becoming an in charge to a female, this all problem arose. But later on, Wilkins also got some recognition, whereas Franklin did not get any recognition during her lifetime, and she was unaware and died of ovarian cancer that she has discovered the DNA. Anyways, the next scientist about whom we will be studying is the Rosalind Franklin. The contributions of this person is tremendous in the field of biology, not only biology, in most of the structures of chemistry, I should rather say. She was the one who determined the structure of molecular structure of DNA, RNA, certain viruses, coal and graphite as well. Now, other than that, she found out this structure of B form of DNA, and during her X-ray diffraction studies, she confirmed that this DNA has a double helical structure. It is not a single helix; it is a double helix, and the backbone is made up of sugar and phosphate. She had already found out this all information. Later on, she got recognition after her death, but she was herself before her death unaware that she has found out these all things. Next is this Watson and Crick. They were very smart people because they not only had tricks in order to get the information about photo 51, but other than that they could also come to conclusions with various scientists experiments by looking into it, by having connections and communication skills in order to interpret the information what someone else has found. And with that all tricks, they could find out the double helical structure of DNA. Later on, they were awarded the Nobel Prize for their contribution, but they even agreed that they had come to this conclusion with the help of Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin's Photo 51. So that's why they also got recognition later on. So, but initially, Watson and Crick were the ones who gave the entire structure of DNA. So, not only that, they also said that this is the structure which is responsible for transmission of genetic information from one generation to another. And this entire information became a very revolutionary thing into the scientists of or the biologists of that time. One more thing was there, which was said by them, that the entire structure of DNA are made up of certain monomers of nucleotides, I'm sorry, and these all nucleotides combine together to form a polymer, and that polymer gives the genetic information or contains the genetic information which can be forwarded to the next generation. So with these all scientists information, the entire credit was taken up by Watson and Crick. Next is the Chargaffs. We have been studying about the rules of Chargaff since long time, but but we did not say that these are the Chargaff's rules. What are the What is the rule basically? It means that A will always pair with T and there will be a double bond in between them, and G will always pair with C and there will be a triple bond in between them. So this is the Chargaff's rule. In other words, the total amount of purines and pyrimidines are usually equal. So AT by GC base pairing is also like helps in is determined basically because of the Chargaff's rule. So these are some of the contributions of famous scientists for the discovery of DNA. Chargaff's rule is definitely very important because of his rule. The nitrogenous bases they can pair up, and the entire structure of DNA can be thought of or can be formed. So that's it about the scientist's contribution for the formation of DNA double helical structure, or not for the formation, for finding out the structure of DNA double helical structure.